Kids screaming in the cradles, profanities. I see the world through ice covered in ink and bleach. Cross out the ones who heard my cries and watched me weep. I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush. Take my eyes open to force reality. Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the cradles.
Alright, chat. I was actually mildly horrified when I got in and I turned my computer on. It updated when I was leaving yesterday. And then I came back in today and I turned it on and it was like, hey, your 4 terabyte hard drive, I don't know where it is. And I was like, oh no. Reset. Boom. Picked up immediately. I'm guessing the update just needed it to restart again. A bit scary though. A little bit scary. So we gotta get this mouth stuff done. Try to get this spittle done. What's up, Quendy? I'm gonna set this one aside for now so I can get some space. So I checked yesterday and they were out of stock like shortly after I bought them, and now they're back in stock again. So I guess the main thing that's hard to ship or that hasn't been made yet are the Land Raiders, which that's a big bummer. A lot of people are realizing Land Raiders are highly needed for a lot of army builds. Defilers, which I'm a little sad about because I was debating picking one up to, you know, try to complete my Walker army concept. No, you gave up space. Teach him to play Warhammer so that you can just play Warhammer there. The holy ground, sir. I'm worried that I'm not going to get a video out next week. Helldivers is kind of taken over my friend group. I'm trying to figure out how to record this this Underworlds match that I want to do. I really need to do it. I just need to get on it. Maybe tonight when I get home. I don't know. The problem is I'm helping my parents with construction. And I've been very clear with them that, like, I'll help, but, like, I need to know that I'm doing stuff. Like, there needs to be... Oh, that's a tooth, actually. There needs to be stuff that I'm doing. Like, I can't just, like, go stand there for, like, hours and do nothing. And they were like, yeah, we'll make sure there's work for you to do whenever we tell you to come over. I was like, alright, cool. I stood there for 3 hours today. And just did nothing. So, sorry. I could have been streaming, I could have been recording. Instead, we just kind of stood there. So a little sad about that. Got my carrying cases for these boxes, though. I think I'm going to turn one into a airbrush backsplash box. Because it's actually, they were a lot larger than I thought they were. I took the MUTALITH VORTEX Beast measurements, and all of them were like 3 inches bigger than what I needed. So I was like, oh, that'll be fine. In theory, that probably would have been fine. In practice, these are very large boxes. Alright, we're gonna switch over to a thin brush. This is MUTALITH 2. And 3 is already prepped. With his different color tendrils. I literally want them to look like a child's art project is walking at you. Like, they're so bright, dude. What I've been putting the effort into with like the bright blues and crazy colors. So the plan, and I need to make a list for it. I have a theory list called Magnus Walks His Dogs. And that list consists of course, a Magnus. All 3 MUTALITH Vortex Beasts, which, if I'm not mistaken, points-wise, that's half my army. And then after that, 2 Forge Fiends, because you got to have a backline. And then we're going to see what we can fit in terms of Chaos Spawn, Zangors, potentially a Demon Prince. And then maybe some allied blue horrors or something. Because I think the goal with this army is going to be to tie up someone on the front line thinking that what they're doing with my blue horrors up there is a good idea. When in reality... you've fallen clean into my trap. You've activated my trap card. Might need to fix this area up here. I've been looking forward to this day, though, for like a year. To those who are unfamiliar, Games Workshop has, of course, been having all of its problems with shipping. And we haven't had MUTALITH Vortex Beasts on the US shop in maybe a year. Almost a year. I think April was the day they left the shop and then never came back. A 1,000 doom and gloom YouTube videos later, talking about how Games Workshop was done and that they screwed up and will no longer be able to supply anyone with anything. They're back in the shop. So, you know. Things we need to do. There's one Talon up here. The thing is, this is just the flats. I'm going to be doing some render on it. Most of the Talons, teeth, and crystals are going to have a little bit extra. Oh, thanks. I try, but I am one person. Like, I don't want to lose too much quality, but I also need to increase speed a little bit. So, like, I'm in that mental state of, like, what do I do? So we'll see what happens going forward. Behold, iridescent shifter paint. Alright, we gotta do a white flat on the tongues on the tail, because we gotta do the fluorescence back there as well. And then I need to question the tendrils on his legs. I'm not too sure what we want to do. God, no FX. Sometimes hits, most of the time misses. I really want to play this as a list. I want to try to get a game in with this list before the end of the month, but I don't know if I'll be able to. So the question is, do I do the tendrils in the glowing color on top of the tongues. I kind of want them to be a little separate. Yeah, let's do it. Tendrils do need to stand out, since they are kind of unique to each. One doesn't have any. It's the first one we did. These have. This one has the ones on the legs. The other one has the ones on the shoulders. Oh yeah, it's all, you can do quality, but like it's harder to build quality. Like the trick is the weird shift right now is YouTube wants consistent long videos, like genuinely long videos. So there's a bunch of creators that have been coming up pretty hard recently who literally just sit in their car and just talk for like 40 minutes to a video, and then that's it. Which is weird, because like I edit for another channel that does like 20-minute news videos pretty consistently, and then like I occasionally see in the comments that people are like, oh, you could have said whatever you were saying in like 2 minutes. You didn't need to go on about it. Just say the thing and move to the next topic. And it's like in that situation, the videos are like 2 minutes long, which is like apparently what people don't want on YouTube. Like it's just weird. It's weird to see the difference in like opinions on how to like make videos and run stuff, and what works and what doesn't. My videos are somewhere in between. If I can get speed, like this is the thing. If I can get like Hanna-Barbera levels of speed, which I have like this whole laundry list of mini vids I need to make. I need to do some emotional vid, like with my character getting like different emotional structure on his face and stuff like that I can quickly swap to. That could be good. I tried a couple video adjustments, the ones where it's him standing there and the camera's kind of shifting. I don't like them. I want to redo them. And I feel like if I can get enough of those together, I can start putting out like really decent content. I just gotta find the time, and this month is not gonna be good for timing. You'd think so. But like the videos of these people who have been taking off, who have like millions of subscribers and get millions of views every video they drop, that are like 40 minutes long, it's literally just videos of them talking about something that they have knowledge on. And that's it. Like it's just them talking, and they'll say like 30 different ways they'll bring up their point. And everyone just watches the whole way through. And the assumption is, psychologically speaking, everyone on YouTube that watches mostly are at a state of mind right now where everyone's like a used car salesman. They're all doing like the Mr. Beast thing where every video is like mega high energy. Hey, I'm on this train, blah, 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 blah. And it's like everyone's doing that used car salesman carnival barker thing. So like people are getting tired of it and they want to see something new and different. So now they're leaning into the people who talk slower and try to like go over specific things. And it's like, I don't know, it's weird to see the shifts. Like there's a bodybuilder on YouTube that has like 10 million subscribers or some shit. Like it's a lot. And he gets like millions of views every video, and he puts like a video out a week that's 40 minutes long of like next to no editing, him talking. And there's like a lot of other YouTubers that have been coming up that are like the same thing. Just next to no talking. It's not gonna change anything. People are fine with it. Like, I don't know. It's one of those, it's just a weird thing to visually see happen. Like a lot of online media is literally just flavor of the week. Like VTubers were exploding heavily for the longest time. And now I feel like that's starting to cool down, even though they still do the hashtag, the VTuber uprising, like every week. But now there's just like a million VTubers for like everything. So now people are like, what else do you got? It's like kind of interesting to watch. Let's get these tendrils going. Yeah, it's like zombies. Like how everyone was in most media were like, "Ah, oh, zombies. That's yesteryear." It's literally the exact same thing, but just with like types of content creator. It's a good model. Hang on, I gotta set my camera up.
You say I make you nervous, a tragedy, I'm a beautiful disaster, a reckoning, you wonder how I got this way.
Yeah, literally like. So my whole life I'm an illustrator designer. I went to school for it. I did all that stuff, and then I got out. I started putting my portfolio around. People be like, "Oh, this will be great for our project," and I'm like, "Cool." And then I never hear back from them. That just became my life of just like, "Damn, you're good. Can't wait to use you on a project." And it's like, "Cool, thanks." Hopefully, hopefully that happens. And so I worked retail for like 2 decades almost, while, you know, going to conventions with portfolios and work and all this stuff and adjusting my workflow to try to match what I thought people in the industry would want to see, things between like fan art, self art, just digital, physical, like everywhere. I just kept doing it. And then one of my jobs, I worked at a mom and pop video game store. And that fell apart in crazy ways. But once it fell apart, one of the employees that I worked with for a while eventually got in touch with me after a few years and was like, hey, that YouTube channel stuff we threw together a few years ago that I've been working on, like I made all the assets and everything for it. He was like, it's working. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, and you could edit for me if you want. And I was like, all right. So I just figured out how to edit. Like, I just watched YouTube videos, see how to balance audio, how to do all that, how to set up different types of animations, things going on. Positive, negatives to using different types of things like transform tools versus regular positioning tools. All that stuff. And I just learned it over the past like 5 years. I just kept picking up new things every week, just looking into new stuff while editing for my buddy. The problem is, I kind of got into it and we were under the assumption that over time it was going to get better to the point where like that was what I could have been doing just full time, no problem. But like we haven't pushed it that much. So I've been kind of like looking for other things to do. It's why I made my own channel. Because maybe people would be interested. Because like he's doing well, but I'm not. So I gotta work on some other stuff. Alright, let's get the orange down. Do we wanna... We'll do the gold. Do we wanna do... I feel like I could glue them together after I get the gold done for like his general overarching look. Or I could leave him off and we could do the crystals as quickly as we can. Because we gotta convert all this to crystal form. Get the orange going over top. That was kind of a thing. I wanted to make sure, because I knew I could animate. I knew I could put stuff on screen that other people couldn't easily. Like, I've seen how other people have edited their how-to for Kill Team and rules and stuff in general. And my first thought was, oh, I could do that a lot better. Because, like, they're missing certain elements visually of how something is supposed to happen. They're kind of relying on, like, pointing at stuff and just saying it. And whereas I can physically, like, show kind of overlays, animated forms, and like really get into the rules in better ways. We kind of started the channel though as a battle report channel, but those are definitely hard. I've seen a lot of people pull out of battle reports recently. Like Bricky had his own battle report channel he picked up from someone. And like they tried it for a year and he was like, I made negative money on that channel. And I was like, I can see it. Content doesn't come out fast enough. I still want to do it. I want to figure out if there's a way for me to speed it up so I can actually get you guys some stuff. Of course, the end game could be like how to mountainside tabletop it, where you actually have like a community built around it with like Patreon and stuff and members and things. Same thing with like Tabletop Tactics, how they run their house of battle reports is basically just Patreon and memberships, and I think their own channel. Kill Team, there's some pretty good Kill Team how-to channels out there. It's just the ones I saw didn't really get into the stuff that I felt mattered as much. So I wanted to kind of try my hand at it. No, they 100% do. Briggy talked about it. Tabletop Tactics definitely does it. I feel like the big reason why Mountainside's been able to do as well as they have is because they did get a community grow around them pretty quickly, and were easily able to go to their Patreon page. So now they're able to like do some fun videos, but also, you know, maintain good battle reports, which is good. Even like people who, like, probably one of the coolest channels, and I don't know if you guys watch them, Wargames Live or Wargaming Live, I think. I've recently found this person, and they apparently, like, they built up this whole thing of them streaming live tournaments, and their dream was to like get together a bunch of equipment and places to, like, ways to get to places, right? Like, he bought an RV for the most part and just filled it with tons of recording equipment, cameras, all these things he needed to be able to live stream games. And that's what he does. And he's what he said is it's mostly funded by Patreon. And he like travels everywhere. He was near here recently. He was doing the Battle to End Alzheimer's tournament, which was really cool. And he has like a really good setup. He's got like high-res security cameras that have that remote control situation where he can like move the angles. He has two on the sides of the table, right, that watch kind of the whole side table at an angle. He has one camera from top down, which is really cool. And then he has these two cameras that are on the side of the table that can slide back and forth at unit level. All of it remote controlled except the top down, which is just so cool to see because he'll like go find a really cool image of like a demon prince about to fight like a squad of Terminators or something, and he'll just fly around doing that and checking that stuff out. Kill Team is smaller, definitely, but I think it has a really nice community of people who are really into the idea of Kill Team. They like, we love it. We love Kill Team. We love what it represents. Games Workshop even noted that the growth of Kill Team when they went to 2.0 was actually kind of explosive. It was unexpected. All right, let me get some gold going. Because Kill Team 1.0, people played it, and then they were like, eh. Because it just felt like small scale 40k, so it didn't really have its own... It didn't have its own concept. What's up, Shammy? So people just weren't interested in old school and 1.0 Kill Team. And then when they finally did 2.0 and really broke its rule set away from 40k, that's when people really fell in love with it. A lot of people have been begging for 40k to change its concept over to alternating activations, which I don't think it's gonna happen. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it has to. It won't. The balance of 40k is around alternating turns instead of activations. I've seen games that do alternating activations, like one-page rules and stuff, and the way that they kind of solve some of those problems of alternating activation among armies that are very different in size and power, I don't like how they solved it. It's not really that great. It's a weirdly strong niche though. Like, I didn't expect it to be as strong. Granted, to be clear, channel is not limited to Kill Team. My next video is gonna most likely be an Underworlds battle report. We're also working on the models from Combat Patrol or Blackstone Fortress. I want to do a Combat Patrol video. Who they did what? What are we talking about? It is part of the identity, yeah. And I know I've seen people say that there's not enough reactionary things you can do in 40k because of how the turns change. There's a ton of reactionary things you can do. Like, there's so many units and armies that are like, oh, you moved, let me do all this. Oh, you did this, let me do all this. There's so much of it now that it almost does feel a little bit like alternating turns in a different setup, which is kind of interesting. I think it's really cool right now. Definitely a lot better than what I remember seeing when I was watching people play 9th. Like, I watched games of 9th and it was literally just, hey, watch as an army dies in one turn, and I was like, oh, okay. Watch as it has 0 ability to stop it. Alright. Now I'm playing 10th, and I've played against people who play tournaments, who they're testing their tournament lists, and my weird, dumb ideas have started kind of working. One-page rules, the way they seem to get around some of the problems of alternating turns, at least at the time, I don't know if they've changed it. They did this thing where they, how do I put this? They put some emphasis on preventing you from activating units. Like, there's a lean-in on abilities and morale phase type stuff that literally makes it so your units get screwed over when they take a devastating hit. And in my opinion, that feels still bad, because the whole thing about 10th that people have been looking at is like, okay, that's actually cool, is they made it so that the morale phase was mostly just about capturing points and not much else. Some things interact with it a little more so than just general stuff, but for the most part, if I fail a morale check, it's like, oh, my OC is gone and I can't target it with abilities, and I'm like, oh, that's not that big a deal. I can get around it. But like the problem of 40k's morale phase seems to still be in one page from like the last battle reports I've seen from one-page rules. Granted, these were from Eons of Battle. So like that was probably like a year ago. And it kept me from really wanting to even delve into it. And I know, like, in my last video where I talked about codexes and the issues of, like, the current format of how to get the rules, there was just an ocean of people who were like, one-page rules, man. Just play one-page rules. I want to play in a tournament. And I'm not really seeing too many people talk about one-page rules tournaments. I feel like one-page rules is, are you bored? Do you want to just quickly do something? Maybe you've got something laying around your house that you can just kind of turn into a board game. Isn't that cool? And it's like, that's cool in the moment. It's so much better. There's still enemies that interact with it. It's just, for a lot of us, it's the only weakness right now of Battle Shock that might need to change is if you battle shock an enemy unit at like the end of your round or something, or like what is it, the beginning of your round? If you use an ability that forces an enemy to battle shock during your turn, if it goes to their turn and they're not at like half strength, they don't have to take a battle shock test. They just come right out of it. And it's like, I get it to a degree. It's a good way to like shut someone's OC down so that by comparison to whatever you throw to that point, maybe you capture it. But we think that if you're in battle shock, you should have to take a battle shock test to get out of it, regardless of your squad strength. And that might be okay, but I don't know. We'll see if that happens. We'll see what changes, if anything. Alright, Aztec gold on that. Maybe? Let me double check the inside ring, because I wasn't really tapping the inside ring at all. Yeah, it's the main thing people don't like is that it's not reliable, which I kind of get. Like things in this game of dice should not be reliable all the time. They just shouldn't. So if I send in a knight that battle shocks enemies it gets near, I shouldn't then be like, oh yeah, it's gonna guaranteed battle shock. Like I should have to have a backup plan, right? I don't see why I shouldn't. I think we brighten this up a little bit. Let me... Where's my other golds? No, yeah, looking like... So I play Thousand Suns. What's your first thoughts when I say that? You're thinking like tons of slow-moving Rubric Marine sorcerers. We're gonna go Greedy Gold as a dry brush glow up, I guess, for this. You're probably thinking those units, right? So my plan going into 10th and even pre-building for 9th, I do have enough rubrics. I do. I could go tons of rubrics. I have a metric ton of Zangors, as well as Zangor Enlightened. So like thinking of the battle shock test phase as what it like used to be, that's like I lose 2 Zangors, I might as well have lost all my Zangors. Just give it a minute. I can go full rubrics if I need to. I have a full 6 squad of rubrics, like all 6. A lot of flamer bricks, which is pretty meta right now. Because flamer bricks are horrifying. A little bit of a brush up glow. Multi-tonal golds, baby. But that's the okay. So I kind of want to run craft on this list that I'm building here. It's what would the points of it be? It's literally 3 of these, right? 3. Magnus, rubric trim. Okay, the way I do it, I spray paint them gold, and then I used contrast paint to just paint the inner parts of the armor. So it's already trimmed. It's done. It's great. So it's 3 Mutalith Vortex Beasts, which I think is like 400 points, if I remember correctly. It's Magnus, who I believe is also 400 points. It's two Forge Fiends, which I want to say is like 300 points. And then it's bulk Zangors. Bulk Zangors, specifically Zangor Enlightened to run around doing things. Zangor Shaman leading them because the +1 to hit and the feel no pain is great. Well, I did the rubric trim on my kill team specifically. The kill team I did it on because I was like, I might as well do it here. But you gotta understand, I used to play Thousand Suns back in 5th. Back when they were Chaos Space Marines and you had to just kind of create a Thousand Sun flavor team. And I had a full large army of that. And then I fell out of 40k for years. So I never, you know, I actually ended up getting rid of all of them. Because they were just taking up space. And we didn't really have plans as far as I knew on getting back in. So instead of just leaving them in like a box in a corner, I was like, I gotta get rid of them. So I just did. I was like, all right, let me just get rid of them. Flash forward to like a decade and a half later, and I was like, I have to repaint all of these rubrics. We're doing this the quick way. I really did not want to F around with having to do all that again. This is another no FX? No, it's Naviro. No, yeah, if you're going to gradient something... Here's the thing, though. Doing a contrast over metallics creates a really cool, like, interesting color. Because contrast is semi-transparent, meaning that the stuff underneath it shows through. So metallics show through contrast by basically reflecting through it. It makes the armor seem interesting. It's toned metal is basically what it is. And if you know how to work contrast, you can actually make really cool gradients with contrast by starting with the light color and like putting it in one area and then quickly getting to a different color and then doing it from the other side and working your way up and then kind of blending it in the middle. And since it's liquid and it pulls back and forth, that's what it does. It'll just start mixing itself, which is really cool. Alright, I want to try to brighten up some of the spittle on this. So it'll look like gradient toned metallic. Contrast does some fun stuff. You do have to be a little careful with it, because like it is a much thinner paint than what you would expect at times. So like you might think, oh, this will work, but then it comes off like flakes at times if you don't apply it right. I definitely highly suggest varnishing. Highly suggest varnishing. But yeah, contrast can do some fun stuff, especially if you do things like pre-shade. Like if you just take a flat surface and pre-shade over top of it, what ends up happening is the contrast, depending on the pigment of shade you use. And when I say shade, I'm talking like a colored shader, like a toned shade, like Cassandara yellow or something. Whatever you do the contrast as over top of that, the shade is a color that then mixes into the contrast. So if you do like Cassandara yellow and then you do like a surface of like a blue, the yellow would, I believe, pull that blue to like a purple in like the shadowy areas, which can be really just quick and good, I guess. Quick and interesting. I think the Night Lord rules are going to be closer to how Phobos works, with tricks over just straight up shooting. I would actually be really interested to see if they don't even give them double fight, double shoot, but they probably will. I think they're going to fall back on double fight, double shoot. I don't see why they wouldn't. Try to get some, because we were planning on doing pink near the tops to pull the red to pink. Is Emperor's Children pink good enough, though? I don't think it is. I think it's too dark. Well, what do you mean, Keys? I have gold trim on my Thousand Suns when I did that. The gold actually makes the stuff that shines through feel different. It feels like it's so weird looking. It's hard to describe because basically you'll look at it and whatever the tone is, it's there, like it's the blue. But the light that's being reflected through it goes gold. So like it has this awkward looking reflection to it that just, I think, makes it look really cool, personally. Of course, it all comes down to your own personal preferences with what you want at the end of the day. But like my intercessors I painted to be Alpha Legion. I thought that was kind of funny because I really didn't want to buy Space Marines, even though it was like the easiest team to learn, and I figured it'd be good to have in the box just in case like a friend wanted to play or I was somewhere and they were like, I want to learn how to play this. No, yeah, they'll probably be closer to Commandos or Phobos. But I do think they're going to have maybe some double strike potential. They got to have something melee related that's like some kind of benefit, like almost Dark Eldar style, for just interesting melee possibilities. Yeah, so my intercessors I just fully painted silver, and then I did Aldari Emerald, the contrast paint on their armor. So when you're looking around, when you look at them, the silver just shines through the armor or through the color. So like peak lights are way brighter than the shadows, which are just, it's cool and I really like it. I like the approach. I actually have a whole video actually out on contrast over metallics. I just remembered. People don't really watch the painting videos I drop. It's not going to stop me though. I've got another one in the chamber specifically for these guys, as well as my painting process for Under Zenithal for lighting. No, yeah. Contrast over metal is a really good, like, cheap system of trying to make something look kind of cool while not needing to put like a million hours of work into it. Yeah, Iron Warrior showed off some basic concepts. That's actually where I kind of figured out the idea of contrast over metal. I think it was Duncan Rhodes that showed off how to do an Iron Warrior in a similar fashion to what I showed. And I saw his video and he was like, "Oh yeah, just take snakebite leather and put it over bolt gun metal, and it makes it look brass." And I was like, "Huh, I wonder what else that does." And that's when I started experimenting with like gold and Acerman blue and just trying out like fun, weird things to do. Alright, so both of these extra components are done. We can glue them in whenever. But I need to think of what we're doing with these crystals. This is a hard one. So I feel like most of them are going to need to kind of do what I did on my first MUTALITH VORTEX Beast, where it looks sort of like it's coming up, and then we got to do edge highlighting. This the horns and stuff. This is the part I don't like about my process for the MVB, because I want to make them look kind of crystalline. Which requires a whole lot more work than just painting them with like a simple contrast, like a bone structure or something, and just being like, "Oh, we're done." Nope, we've got a ways to go. So we're gonna just hit them with a little bit of this like light, this like mid pink, I guess. And then we're gonna try to use, because it's super liquidy and I hate it for it, we're gonna try to use Fulgrim Pink to do some peaks, and then we might apply some whites for full spectral highlight. What, this? This is a MUTALITH VORTEX Beast from Games Workshop. It's not transparent. It's got shifter paint on it that makes it look a little odd. Which is what I wanted to pull off with it. man. Yeah, MUTALITH VORTEX Beast. I love their models. Some of it's meh. Like there's elements to it where I'm like, could be better. I thought they were getting a reprint. I thought they were getting like a visual update, which is why we didn't get any in the US for like a year. I figured they were just like, we'll just hold off until the new model's done. So I was like, we'll see what happens. And now we've just been fully getting the models. Like, they even got a new restock. Shifter paint. I use Vallejo shifter. It's difficult. It doesn't really pick up on camera well, but the way shifter works is based on the angle the shine is throwing at you. It hits you with a different color. It's this. So this kind of shifter, from like certain angles, it'll be purple. Others, it'll be this brown gold. This like orangish gold. I think that's not what this guy has. This guy has one of the green gold ones. I think the other one has the other shifter. Normally, when you're painting stuff, what you want to do, they have a stock issue, but I mean, you should see, like, I was talking to the guy that runs the local Warhammer store, and he was going over like a lot of the stuff that like he's literally witnessed as part of the problem from like his perspective. And I've also personally witnessed it in other avenues of like collecting and shipping and all that. So I don't know how many of you are from the UK, but you know, Brexit kind of a thing. Apparently, and I found this out not through Games Workshop, but through a buddy of mine who had ordered a bunch of stuff for his collection. And the guy he ordered it from was like, all right, I'm gonna try to ship it out. He was like, all right, cool. And it had been like a year since he ordered it. And he was like, all right, what the hell is happening? Why am I think it, I mean, more realistically, I think it was like 5 months. So he was like, all right, I got to figure out why I haven't gotten my stuff. I got to figure out if this guy scammed me or what's happening. So he looked into the area. He looked into the area where the guy's address was from the like out shipping. The mailing center that guy has not given mail to the locals or sent mail from the locals in a year. Like, it just hasn't, because they don't have employees anymore. Like, Brexit literally destroyed the employees at that place, and like no one wants to work there. And there's just massive shipping problems that have occurred in like a lot of districts because of this. And there's only currently some things clearing up about it. So that seems to be part of the issue. And I know a lot of people were like, oh god, when are we ever going to get our stuff in? Well, we just started getting in the US shipments of things, which has actually been really good. Like, a lot of stuff that has been out of stock for a year is finally in. MUTALITH VORTEX Beasts in particular. I was actually talking to a buddy of mine about purchasing it. He's from the UK, and I was like, we were going over the costs, right? Because it was out of the UK, and it would have cost me $10 more per model to get him to ship me them. And I was like, all right, we'll talk about this in like a week. I'll start budgeting to maybe start sending you money to like maybe get you to buy them both and ship them to me, and that'll be fine. Like that was my plan. My favorite paint job, my Archeon. I've posted it in a few places. I'm actually really happy with my Archeon paint job. I like my Magnus and like a lot of my other stuff. There's a lot that I really enjoyed about some of my paint jobs. I love my Helldrakes. Although I think the one thing my Helldrakes need, I need to figure out how to put a small green LED light inside of them so that they have inner glow. Because Helldrakes have a lot of open edges, which is weird to me. I'm not familiar with Games Workshop being like, oh yeah, just leave that open. There's a gap there. Who cares? Just leave it open. So Helldrakes just have all these gaps all over them, and I'm like, I hate how that looks, kind of. But then I started thinking of it, and I was like, oh, dude, I could get a green LED. And I could make the green LED just be inside of it, and then you'll just see all these gaps glowing, which will be really cool. But yeah, my Archeon's probably my favorite, because I did a lot of work for that. I think I painted him over the course of like a month. That was one of the first big Zenithal Underglow paint jobs I did. And it really worked out. Because I painted his base to eventually look like molten lava. So his underglow of like yellow and orange just turned into the proper lighting for his base, which made it all work together. And I really liked that. I picked him up to paint for the most part because he was one of the coolest models when I was in the store. Like so I painted my buddies. I painted his Custodes kill team and I painted his Grey Knight kill team. And then I painted all of our terrain. I did like a lot of paint jobs for our group, right? And he was like, we were at the store looking at stuff and he was like, yo, pick something out. Anything. Just pick something out. It'll consider it payment for my stuff. And I was looking around and I was like, well, I just purchased a Kairos, so I wasn't really planning on doing another Lord of Change at the time. I eventually did, but at the time I was like, eh. So I was looking and I was like, let me go to the AOS line, because I know the AOS line has some of the coolest models in the game right now. And I saw Archeon at the store. I was like, yo, Archeon. Eventually I did get into AOS because the local store did a league. It was the White Dwarf League. They had that event, the Slytherin Isles. I need to fix this hand up. So I eventually played. I picked up a lot of Disciples of Tzeentch. I picked up some extra demons. It's good. I like the format to a degree. It has, in my opinion, one of the worst parts of the Games Workshop tabletop format, though. The roll for initiative every round concept. I still hate that. Like, I think I'm trying to remember if that was the case in 5th, because I get a lot of my games mixed up that I haven't played in forever, and I thought the old system for 40k used the same roll for initiative each round thing. I can't remember. But like I remember doing something with roll for initiative each round, and I remember hating it. Cause like literally every round at the time felt like if you failed your initiative roll, then you might as well just like pack the board up and leave. And I've played a bunch of AOS games now where I've been double initiative bombed. Like every single time. Every single game, it's turn one. I get into like a decent position. Maybe I'll do good next round. I don't necessarily need to go first, but if I go second, my opponent's most likely gonna have some really good stuff to hit me with and cause tons of problems. And I'm like, oh man, I really hope I don't get screwed turn two again. It does cause some interesting things, though, with the rules that they expanded on, which I kind of like. Like, I was worried that it was just going to be like, oh, you can get double initiatived and then, you know, just, like, go home, I guess. But I have units in my army where they're like, yo, are we going second? Guess what? We're really strong now. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, my Zangor Enlightened, if I go second, you can't use orders near them as an enemy. Like, they have a very large area of effect aura that's just like, oh, you want to use a plan, or you want to use an order? You can't do it. Sorry. So, like, that's kind of cool. I like that there's some units that are like, if we don't have initiative, it's fine. But, like, I'm so unfamiliar with the grander scheme of kind of how the game works that I don't know, like, which units do what and which to look out for. There are people at my local store that AOS is their baby, right? Like, that's what they play all the time. And they've hopped into our leagues occasionally, and they just play. Like, they're good. They teach you while they play, but they also kind of want you to see what the game actually is. So even though they don't bring like, oh my god, this is the tournament list from this year situation, they do bring lists that show that they know what the hell they're doing. Like, I watched as somebody who's actually, he plays 40k a lot and he's really good at most strategy games. Like, that's his whole thing. I watched him get picked apart in like a turn. Like, he was just one turn, enemy team was on him, it was over. And of course, I kept playing against my one friend, and my one friend played Hero Hammer, if you're familiar with the concept. Basically, just whatever faction he picked, he was like, how many named characters can I fit in this list? And Disciples of Tzeentch don't seem that strong, especially in the format we were playing. And his army was like, playing Hero Hammer as his army, he was just like, I'm gonna kill like everything you've got in like 2 turns. It's like, oh, I'm gonna use all these abilities and see what happens. What? Nothing happened? Okay. Like, at the time I didn't have demons though. Like, I had like a couple demons to play with, but I didn't have enough, and I'm starting to realize that one of the key elements of playing Disciples of Tzeentch is trying to create demon fodder wherever the hell I can. Like, that's a key element of that army, is just like, how many demons can I gunk up your wheels with? It's cool that you have so much cavalry. Hopefully you can get past these multiple waves of allies that I have that cost me no points to throw between you and me while I'm shooting you. No, yeah, but I, like, the thing is, when we started playing 2,000 points, I also could have hero hammered. I had a Kairos, I had a my Archeon model, and I was like, I could do this. I don't think I want to. I want to try to like learn I wanted to learn the core mechanics of Disciples of Tzeentch, and that's kind of where I realized I just needed summonable demons. I needed the ability to just chuck blue horrors between me and my opponent. My original concept with the army was to go there's a faction, like a sub-faction, that can summon a Lord of Change really quickly. So my plan was to go that faction, get enough spell points in a turn that I can do it easily. That way I basically summon like 300 points worth of an ally for free and just go with it, because I figured it would be really good. But like that army, the list I had like next to no melee potential. So any enemy I went against that was like, I'm really good at melee, I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna crumple. The mode we played, I think, didn't do battalions. Which one's battalions? I know one of them doesn't get used in match play. Battalions is the one where you create like small groups that give those specific groups a buff, right? It's not the I think Battle Scrolls is the thing that doesn't really get used in competitive play because it's broken at times. Oh yeah, big burb summon turn 1. The thing is, I need to learn patience. Like, I always summon the big burb after moving up. Like, I move up. I'm in someone's face, turn 1. And I'm just like, hey, how's it going? Whereas I probably should just shore up my power and start chucking spells across the field until a bunch of stuff dies. Yeah, it's the buff thing. I know there's the quick drop one. There was like something else I was looking at. The Disciples of Tzeentch Battalion is literally Kairos, and I want to say 3 Lords of Change. I don't even know how you do that. Like a 2,000 point game, I think that's literally the army. I want to say that the goal with that bonus type battalion is to have them walking around and try to fill the field with summonable demons. But I'm pretty sure the way I read it, you can only summon 1 demon per movement phase, unless I misread that. Because I was thinking you could summon more than 1, at which point, if you have a ton of casting, you could just summon like 10 squads of blue horrors and be like, haha! Good luck. But I'm pretty sure the paper goes once per movement phase or something. It says like if you have the points, you can summon a demon from this list. And it's like, oh, that kind of sucks. Because with enough sorcerers, I probably could summon like 4 squads of blue horrors. And that would just be the best. You just gunk the system up. Yeah, that's what I figured. So at the very least, if I do summon the blue horrors, it's basically just a small brick that can go in front of one of my Kyrics, and then my Kyrics can use them as that source of cover they need to then be able to shoot the unit that charges into the blue horrors, meaning there's health soak while my Kyrics are just doing mortal wounds. Or whatever the hell, I think it's just regular wounds. The terminology in AOS is like a partial crossover with 40k, but it's not all exactly the same, which throws me off at times. But yeah, now I have Flamers, an Exalted Flamer, 2 squads of Blue Horrors. I tried to design a brick, basically, to use. It kind of sucked. Before they nerfed Demon Allies in 40k, I bought Flamers, an Exalted Flamer. I had a Lord of Change and a Changeling. That was my alliance brick for my knights. Like, I wanted a full contingent of demons because their whole purpose was to be able to just deep strike wherever, since Chaos Knights don't have built-in deep strike. You have to come in off table edges, which isn't that bad. But it also limits where you're coming in from, which means your opponent can easily screen. They don't have to screen the whole table. They just have to screen table. They have to screen table edges. Kind of sucks. Oh yeah, Monstrous Rampage, always good. It's a good game. I like AOS. I love the concept of how AOS seasons work. The idea where everyone gets like new universal spells, and like the models don't really need to change much, but like at the same time, and then I feel like AOS works better with the side module games. Like, it works a lot better with the side module games. I bought Ephelim's Pandemonium from Underworlds, and I can just use it in my Zinch army. And they're actually really good. The ability for that unit to teleport someone, like, onto another point is just really good. This is in the Hall of the Mountain King. Why is this here? Alright, so the crystal horn forms on the other one that I'm doing, the last one that I'm doing, are gonna be green. But they're not gonna be the glowing green that I normally do. They're gonna be like a different kind of green. The main reason we're doing triple MVB is because I've had one for a little while now, and I've played a few games with it at the helm. It's been like one of the big units in my army. It specifically, every single time I've used it, I feel like it's been the reason I've won. The adaptability of it, as well as its ability to take fire. These things are so strong in 10th right now. I'm expecting them to get nerfed, and I'm going to be very sad when that happens. But before then, I'm going to use the hell out of them. I'm going to abuse this model so hard. Kasserkin are cool. I love Kasserkin. Like, they're stronger. So everyone was like, oh, they're really weak. They manipulate dice rolls, and they've been buffed twice. They're actually a lot stronger than I think people realize. But I think the trick with both those teams you're picking is the same issue that the Warp Coven kind of get hit with. Although Kasserkin and Corsairs don't get hit with it nearly as hard as the Warp Coven. With those teams, you're looking to trap your opponent in a moment. You're looking to find a situation where your opponent positions wrong or does just one thing that's like you realize isn't them fishing to get you to do something stupid, but it's something that they're like, I have to do this or I'm gonna lose, right? Like, that's the whole thing. They're like, I have to be in this position or I'm going to lose. And that's when you capitalize. But like, a well-versed player in the game won't find themselves in that moment of being like, I have to move up or I'm going to lose. They're going to constantly be in the situation of keeping up with you in points if they've chosen properly what to take mission-wise to fight you. And if that's the case, then like you're not gonna have that moment of like, haha, and then you just win. That's kind of what the Kasserkin, that's like their core hope, is to have that like, I did it. Like my buddy ran his hive fleet against me, and he brought his warriors because he was like, you only have a couple things that could kill these things. I'm just gonna rush them at you and try to bring you down. I was like, all right. So I brought the Melt-A-Gun, and on turn 2, I took initiative, and I threw all of these like bonuses down in the room where the warrior was. I walked into that room with that Melt-A-Gun and did like 30 points of damage to it. And that was it. Like, I ended that warrior's life because he moved it up to where he figured he needed to put it to fight me, and I played cagey, and he really wanted to try to shut me down by turn 2. That was kind of his goal. And dude, just being, before the buff, just being able to be like, oh, I need an extra crit. And just doing it. Like, that's so mean. Just being like, let me get the second crit real quick with this Melt-A-Gun. The Kasserkin are absolutely insane. But Corsairs can do very similar things. And I feel like if you're into Bag of Tricks, like if you really like Bag of Tricks gameplay, Corsairs, 100%. The things I've done with Corsairs, using like the teleport frickin' spell, and oh, it's great. I think, didn't they improve? They improved something on them. They improved like their solo operative thing, I want to say, the one where you get like bonuses. Oh, have people joined my Discord? Long Furby. Now we gotta do this. Oh, you're new? You're Long Furby? Welcome in. Alright, so now we gotta do Fulgrim. What was I looking up? I was trying to go to Waha. I also have a Vet Guard squad behind me and a Farstalker Kinban squad behind me that I gotta do at some point after I do these Combat Arena Blackstone Fortress models. Where's Corsair Voids Guard? I have a meme picture somewhere that's a Furby attached to like some weird giant chicken legs. It looks horrifying. I think they put a pair of like dentures in its mouth too, so it looks like it has human teeth. I want to say it was, is it Plunderers that got the change? We can just look at the data slate. Didn't we get a Q1 data slate? Or did it get changed in Q4 and then just other things got changed? Outcast, yeah. So change distance requirement to 3. So now you have a much closer range on Outcast, which is huge. Outcast is really nice. In the roll attack dice step of combat shooting attack, it is if it's more than 3 inches from friendly operatives, if you retain any critical hits, you can select one of your failed hits to be retained as a successful normal. You attach that to rending weapons, and you just mess someone up. Because then you also throw in, I want to say, where is it? There was a... It's not opportunistic. It might be deadly ambush. Can only move 3 inches. No, it's not deadly ambush. There's something that they had where they almost got like a guaranteed crit as well. Attacker and the target is not ready. Oh yeah, rapid strike. Rapid strike plus outcasts. Is just absolutely crazy for damage output. But they're a really good team. And it's them and I want to say the Scouts now. The Scouts are the only ones alongside the Corsairs. Like, redeploy in 40k, redeploy in Kill Team. Redeploy is way too good. It's certainly like a trick you have to keep your eye out for. Because redeploy can be way too strong. Yeah, my buddy gave me the Scouts because he was he only wanted the Scorpions because he plays Aldari and he does like playing Craft World stuff. I hate how liquidy Fulgrim pink is. It's like the perfect pink that I need for this moment. And it's just so liquidy. I imagine Night Lords are going to be bag of tricks. I don't know if they're going to be straight damage. I feel like some people think they're going to end up being straight damage, which, I mean, that would be kind of sad because they already look exactly like the Legionaries. And the Legionaries are already straight damage. So, like, for them to be like, hey, or you can try this other Chaos team that's exactly the same, I think would be an abject waste. They definitely need to do the Chaos Space Marine equivalent of a bag of tricks. I do think the Orcs need a second kill team. That is that. I think they need at least one melee heavy team for the Orcs. I kind of get why they did the ranged one, because it's very offbeat to what you would expect out of Orcs, which means it's this cool like thing they were able to sell alongside Orcs. Since Orcs kind of had their own system and method of play, and then this was just like, hey, we're nothing like that. You have no idea how we're gonna handle. But then everyone realized that they're actually really strong. They were really strong in 9th because they had like this, they were insanely difficult to shoot. So they were able to be this amazing low cost, efficient point scoring unit. And they could do these like dumb things, like creating a line of units that prevent like shooting to other stuff. Because I think, wasn't the rule in 9th that like if there was a unit you couldn't see and there was stuff on the other side of it, like it kind of conferred that a little bit. I think there was a trick with the Harlequin vehicles where you could just do the Harlequin vehicles in a wall at a certain distance and you like weren't able to shoot stuff on the other side of them. It was like this weird thing. Does he just really love commandos? Commandos do really well, man. They keep winning. LVO, I think, was Commandos, right? Was it Commandos or was it Vets? I think it was Commandos. Commandos and Vets are still, like, the pinnacle at this point. Like, they always take high ranks in leaderboards. Probably because the people who play them played them since the beginning and have adapted strategies to, like, all the new teams coming out pretty effectively. Whereas all of the rest of us are just like, oh, let me try this new thing over here that I don't quite know. And then let me take it to a tournament. Yeah, they were LVO. I think they were also frickin' Nova. I think they won Nova. Like, that guy who plays those... It's the same guy, I'm pretty sure. From my memory. Like, that guy just wins with commandos. And all it does, every single... Like, I run into people on, like, Reddits and forums, which is just a constant reminder that those aren't the smartest of places. There's so many people who go to them who are just like, man, kill team with all this power creep, all these new teams that are just way too strong. And, like, all I want to do is just post the leaderboards from, like, the big tournaments. What up, Arturo? Yeah, Vetguard went a lot. Mostly because Vetguard's like the hordiest of hordes, which is weird, considering the commandos. Like, outside of compendium teams, I think Vetguard are the most units on field. I think you can only get more units from maybe going compendium orcs, double boys with Gretchen. Maybe? I'm not even sure about that. That might not be right. Yeah, like, they're insane. And then, yeah, like, you get all the people who are like, Compendium, don't play Compendium, it's meaningless. Meanwhile, out of 160 players, what was it, number 8 or number 9 at LVO was Hive Fleet. It's like, sure, bud. Let me listen to you on any of these topics, as literally people are actively proving you wrong every single minute of the day. I'm gonna need to back up a lot of these video files I'm taking today. They're all like 20-minute B-rolls of me painting this guy. No, yeah, that's the whole point with their GA2. They don't get overwatched as much. They still suffer from it. But if you position well and know which units you're fine throwing out there to like die, they're so hard to deal with. Cause like you only have like you just have to think in like the long term, right? You have 4 turns to make the most of the units you have on field. There's not a lot of teams that could easily kill that full contingent of Imperial Guard in 4 turns. It's just not gonna happen. So like in a turn, an Imperial Guard player can be like, I gotta go capture that point for, you know, I gotta go loot it for the point. So you're gonna die. And then just like send the unit sprinting in to loot. And then that's it. Like, there you go. You got your points. That guy's dead. You did it. It's just so, it's so perfect. Oh god. I've heard TV commercials with this song. What time is it? 4 o'clock. I kind of want to see like, I gotta go soon. I'm just happy to get some time in today. I kind of want to see what he looks like with his mouth and everything in before I go. Are Commandos still in 10th? I haven't checked. I know Gellerpox got legacied, which made me sad. I'm pretty sure they made it so that the Blooded are kind of their own thing. Like, you get the leader from the Blooded. And then you can use the Guardsman as Traitor Guard if you want. Yeah. Because some kill teams made it in. But they got, like, weirdly changed. Like, Corsairs just became, like, a Corsair unit. Like, I think they're just, that pirate unit now. Like, they don't actually... I don't know if you can take them with the mini Farseer or anything. I'd have to double check it. Of course, Legionaries are just Legionaries. I'm not sure if novitiates work the way that they kind of come. Yeah. Yeah, they've made them more generic, which I'm kind of sad about, but I also get. A lot of what I think they've aimed to do with 40k is to make it so that, like, if someone walks into a store and goes, I want to play 40k, it's not as crazy as it used to be when you're finding out about, like, the units and the ways things are set up. Like, they've tried to hyper simplify 40k enough to make new people who they're hoping are going to start looking into it because of all the shows coming up and the Henry Cavill stuff and all that. Like, they're hoping all these people are about to be like, oh, I can't wait to play this game that I'm hearing about now. Dude, like, it was actually really weird. I was in my local store, and this guy who kind of looked like a, assumptions, of course, but I mean, it was how he dressed. He was just in the store. He looked like a frat bro, because this is a college town. And he was just looking at stuff as a frat bro. And I'm standing there just, like, checking out the units that we're in. And he walks over and he goes, I'm really thinking of getting into 40k. Like, what is now a good time to get in? Like, he actually asked me, like, and I had this whole, like, 30-minute conversation with him. And he was like, oh, that's actually really good. Oh, rules are free? That's awesome. And, like, we were just going over the list. And he was like, I might actually look into this before purchasing stuff. Now that I can, like, go home and, like, go online and sit down and take a look at some stuff. It's like, dude, this is awesome. And all I can think is, like, yeah, you're not going to get overwhelmed by, like, all the different frickin' rules and stuff that just, like, happen. Like, when I was getting back into it and I was finding out, like, the 50 command points that everyone had access to, holy crap. I was like, maybe we don't get back into 40k. It's gonna take me a year to figure this out. And now they're just like, yeah, everyone gets like, there's this grouping of regular, and then everyone gets something like 6. Yeah, it's 6. And it's like, oh, all right, it's reasonable. A lot of what's changed in 10th edition feels like it kind of was beta tested in Kill Team. The lower amount of command point, like what you had access to, the lower amount of strategies that you had access to. Oh my god, my freaking glue. I think I just twisted the cap completely off. Yup. That's not good. What is this song? Bunny Hop? No. Oh no, it was the right way around. Forgot that this was the weird one where it doesn't actually sit flush to the bottom. You have to kind of hit the edges. And then just be careful about placement when you push it in. It's the YouTube thing. Their backlog of BS. These aren't, I don't think these are firmly sitting in yet. I might have to put some green stuff behind it. It's like close, but I feel like it's loose. If I leave it, it might be okay. If you're wondering about this, though, hang on before you go. Yeah. Ever since we've gotten into the fun of fluorescent paints, yeah, I've always liked to show kind of the results. Blacklit, baby. just for reference. Good army to start with in AOS. I don't feel personally informed enough to be able to hit you with like, oh yeah, these guys definitely. But do you have anything on hand that you're like, oh yeah? If you're talking about armies that might not cost a ton to like really get into, is it Ideneth? I feel like every time I've ever seen the Army of the Deep in a tournament, they've always, I mean, the models themselves are probably expensive, but every tournament I've seen has just been, hey, it's like 8 people on the back of a shark. And like, it's cool because you're like, oh, that's really interesting looking because they kind of float around and you get the really cool like ocean themed basing and stuff. But then you watch a shark run into a person, and then you watch an entire squad die as the shark then swims away. And you're just like, what the, how? How did one thing just kill everything? And they're really crazy. But like, I feel like a lot of people, when they lean into like, oh, this is kind of basic, they usually go like Stormcast. Because that's kind of like the Custodes. I definitely do not suggest Disciples of Tzeentch at all. They're so hard to play, and they're not in a good spot. But, you know, I had the stuff. Lizardmen are supposed to be pretty good, and they have good starting boxes. If you're trying to get into AOS, here's the secret. Here's the secret for every 40K Games Workshop, whatever game coming out. If you're thinking of getting into it, look at a recent release. That's it. Just look at a recent release, because starter boxes come out for those releases, and you can usually buy like 2 or 3 boxes, right? And you're good. You're in. It's always been the case. Like right now, if you're thinking of 40K and you're like, I like Space Marines, take a quick gander at Dark Angels, because you could buy 2 of those boxes and you're probably good for a while. Like, this is how it is. It's better around the holidays, I think. Do you think they have the holiday boxes still? Didn't the Lizardmen have a holiday box? If you can find a holiday box. The Battle Forces. The Battle Forces, they had a Primordial Star Host. That's a good one. If you're going Lizardmen, because you get like a really good leader unit and then just a ton of units. Praetorian Spearhead, which I believe are one of the multiple undead races, but this is the one that has like dragons and ghosts and stuff, which is really cool. They did release Warhorde of Eternus, which is Slaves to Darkness. It actually looks like a pretty good start. It's no longer in the store, but if you can find one in a local store, which rare, I'm not saying you're going to, it is a rarity. 100%. That's what you should be looking into doing. All right, something I kind of want to do with this guy before I go. I kind of want to get him on a base. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we leave him off because I do need to do all the crystals. So if you're looking into buying now, you're mostly looking at collected boxes and who has what and what you can get access to. Yeah, they give you the big Star Master, which is apparently an insanely good model. It's basically the Magnus of their team, which is just really good. And then you get Archon on a horse. You get like basic Archon, I think. Or no, you get a Turnus, Blade of the First Prince. It's a really good collection. But then you look at other boxes, because Lizardmen came out recently. You look at teams that have come out recently, and those boxes are like decent. Like the Disciples of Zinch Vanguard box, god awful. It has one of the worst leaders in it. They're like genuinely just a bad leader. Sadly, you don't get the double Kyrex, which is what you want. You might need to buy 2 boxes of it in order to play, because you usually want a reinforced Kyrex squad, and then you get OK demons on top of it. He's the generic version, but does that box have the ability to build both? Because I know the undead one has the Vampire Lord. They have the Vengorian Lord, and the Vengorian Lord model is Luke of Eye. Like, you just change the upper body and you get Luke of Eye. Do they not give you the alternative stuff? Because I think Eternus the First Blade is the same way. I gotta take some pictures of this guy, and I gotta get moving. Really happy with kind of where he is. We gotta get him based, though. And then, yeah, hopefully, pretty soon, I don't know, we'll get to work on this one. The last of the 3 Mutalith Vortex beasts. He's gonna have green crystals. His spit's gonna be, I don't know. I don't know what color his spit's gonna be. We're so close, man. We're so close to all 3 Mutalith Vortex beasts being ready to go for a game. Oh, it is a struggle. We got to do all the gemstone highlighting. We're going to have to go back in with the white as well to do the really tip-based specular highlights. Because I definitely did white on this one. I think I'm going to use Army Painter White, because Army Painter White breaks differently than Pro Acryl. Pro Acryl is pretty solid, but I can't really easily do like fade effects on it for some reason. I got it moving. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for making one of these random off days when I don't normally stream actually kind of cool to chill, talk to people. I'm pretty sure I have a lot of work to do tomorrow. I might try to do a later stream, though. I don't know. Till then, later, guys.